Hello, and welcome to another episode of AGD Bytesize, where I give you a small tip that you might find useful when developing a game in Arcade Game Designer. So today I'm going to show you how to copy and paste an entire screen so that you can create a new level based on a template. So you can save off a template, load it in, add detail, and so on. You can also use it for moving from one game to another or for backing up. So let's begin. Let's look at the screen that I have here, which is from the Attic Attack video that I've been working on. If you haven't seen those and you're interested, please check them out. So the screen we've got here is 22 by 22 blocks. So you need to know the width and the height of the screen that you're working with. Now, when you're editing a screen, it's stored in an editor buffer at the top of the memory. So we can actually access that. But before we do that, let's calculate the amount of bytes that are currently being taken up in the buffer. So it's 22 by 22, which is 484 bytes. Of course, screens are actually compressed in AGD, but when they're in the editor, they're uncompressed, and this is how we can access them. So what we do is we go to Save Binary Data, choose a suitable folder, and give it a suitable name. So here I'm going to call it Attic Attack or Attic Screen number 1.bin. So this is a binary file, once I save this off, I have to choose the start and the length. So make a note of this number here coming up. So 64768. That's where the editor stores it, and here the length for you, this might be different, probably will be, it's the number of bytes on the screen. So 64768, and I save that off, and this number is the same for every game. Screens aren't always stored in the same place, but when you're actually editing them, this is where they're stored. So you're always going to be looking at the current screen. So now that I've saved that off, it's pretty straightforward. The next thing I have to do basically is just create a new screen. So I'll do that now, and as you can see, there we are, screen 4, same size. Obviously normally I'd have to draw the whole thing again, but instead what I'm going to do now is choose to load the binary data and load the Attic screen here, and tell it to load it in at the same address because we're loading it into the editor buffer. And lo and behold, if I now press OK, doesn't look like anything's happened, but if I press back and then press forward to screen 4, there you can see I've actually loaded in that screen completely. So this is going to save you quite a lot of time if you've got the kind of game that has rooms which are similar, such as one like Attic Attack, where you can basically create a template. For example, you could create one with different combinations of doors, and then you can load them in to build the overall map, and then you can add the detail later. Now, one question that some of you might be asking is, does this mean that I can now copy screens that are one size into another of a different size? And the answer to that is kind of. Basically, the way that the data is stored, it's stored consecutively, so that's the reason that AGD deletes all the data when you change the screen size, because if you change the screen width, then the whole screen would become completely out of sync and the display would be garbled, and it just wouldn't look good at all. However, it is possible to import some data as long as you don't change the height. For example, here this is 22 by 22. If I change the width, everything would become skewed. But if I change the height, then everything should still line up. So as long as you're careful, consider the number of bytes that you're using and so on, then you may have some success with that. Feel free to experiment. Obviously do a backup first. Right, well, I think that's enough for today. I hope that you found this video useful, and I'll be back soon with another one. In the meantime, keep enjoying AGD, keep enjoying the Spectrum, take good care. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.